Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's start this new week to continue with the tarot reading for the Aries idols, the Aries season. So today is going to be the turn of ATEEZ Seonghwa. So yes, to celebrate his birthday and his energy, this reading is dedicated to him. Let's talk a bit about his energy, astrologically speaking. He is in Aries, and his moon is in Cancer. So, and I believe his rising is also in Cancer. I don't know if I'm mistaken. I don't remember exactly, but there's something about someone that I think he is the most non like the one that doesn't look like an Aries at all. Like I was amazed actually when I found out that he was an Aries, because I was like, there's something different here in energy. Of course that you do have like some Aries people that are really calm and chill, and that they do show their assertiveness or their persona or character through different expressions. But in his case, I was like, this guy looks so deep, like so, so connected with himself, even when he's silent. His body language seems very like deep and controlled. So when I read his birth chart, I was like, oh, this makes sense, a lot of water here. So he does remind me actually of Cancer. I think that somehow his moon sign takes over his whole personality. But yes, as soon as you probably see him on stage, probably you see the Aries element, the Aries influencing him. and but it's amazing how this Cancer moon somehow takes over his whole persona. It's really interesting actually, and it's really pleasant to see, because it does give a sort of deepness to him. There's something very esoteric about him. I don't know how to explain this, but you know that he's so much more than what he shows, and that's amazing. That's very mesmerizing. So yes, the cards that he got is the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the Moon in reversed. So, we were talking about Cancer placements, Cancer moon, water placements, and definitely we start the reading with the King of Cups. So here again, it's the proof that he is very comfortable with his emotions, with being emotional, with having this very mutable and very transformative kind of nature. I don't see him like, I think that he uses his assertiveness as an Aries when he feels like he has to, but otherwise he's a very simple and a very honest guy emotionally. I think he's very well connected to his feelings, to his emotional needs, and probably for him to be fulfilled, or to have his emotional needs taken care of, or to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel understood, um, almost in a telepathic kind of way. For him, it's much more important than being aggressive, or being, like showing a tougher side, or being even probably being in a competition. Probably his nature is not being this very competitive person. Probably he feels comfortable with just giving the fans a very well, very emotional experience. He wants the audience to feel things when they connect with his performance. He wants to leave a very strong impression, but somehow in your unconscious, you know. He's very magical. There's something about him that definitely lets me know that he is in a good place also with his emotions. I don't see him like, you know, like, because sometimes when you do have a water moon, you do a struggle, and especially being an Aries, you know, you do a struggle somehow to connect different parts of yourself. But in his case, I think that he's very comfortable with being true to his emotions or true to how he feels. He's very perceptive in that way. And I think that is his perception or his ability um, to be very intuitive what actually helped him gain everything that he has right now. Um, and he's also very artistic, you know, and I think that somehow he's going to put all those artistic side of him, very sensitive side of him, to a good use. I think he's going to get a lot of invitations, and he's also going to offer himself, you know, to put himself as a possibility for different projects. You know, I think that he's slowly like thinking, you know, he is in this King of Cups mode. So probably he's also connecting a lot with his, you know, what he wants to achieve individually. I think that this year is it's about the group, but it's also about him expanding his individual options. You know, somehow I think that for him, even though he's an Aries, there are moments that probably for him to come out of his shell and come out of his comfort zone, it's a bit tough. You know, probably he he's a bit shy. You know, there's something about him being a bit reserved, but I see him like reaching out to someone, you know, and being like, okay, yes, I want to collaborate with you, or I want to take this offer that you once made to me. You know, you did this offer to me, so I want to like I want to do it. So and I see like the opening to a lot of conversations, you know, and a lot of like deals, you know, and arrangements, you know, like okay, we're going to do this like this. Also, a lot of like his energy is going to be very focused in communication. You know, probably he had been in the past few months, he had been reflecting a lot about his character or about himself and his personal choices. And now he's deciding to work on his insecurities, you know, probably on some aspects about himself that he doesn't feel that confidence. You know, there's something about a speech or the power to express himself or the power to be a bit more assertive with words. You know, somehow he wants to, because I feel like since he's very sensitive, he has a lot of intuition and a lot of perception about things. But somehow for him to express, you know, these things that he had been feeling and experiencing, it's not easy because he's like, oh, what if others don't understand me? And somehow now he's like opening up, you know, and he's like, okay, I want to use this ability of mine or this sensitivity of mine to start like writing or like opening communications and also opening the door to feeling more inspired and also like coming up with new ideas. You know, I think he has a lot of ideas. And somehow in the past, he didn't feel like he had the authority to be like, oh, yes, I have something that I want to share. Probably he felt like this was very private. But now he's slowly working on the way he communicates. You know, he no longer wants to be this person that bottles everything inside of himself, because I think that he does that. You know, probably he does. He tends to feel so much, but somehow it's not easy to get him to express how he really feels. You know, probably he tends to minimize how he feels because he doesn't want others to worry. So he's like, if you ask him how he's feeling, he probably needs to trust you a lot in order to actually tell you how he really feels about something. So I think that in this case, he's slowly like getting in contact with putting his emotions into words and being a better communicator. And also, I think that this is very important because somehow we have the moon card here in reversed. So I think that it's important for him to talk, to be more expressive with words. It can avoid him a lot of moments of feeling uncomfortable and feeling like he is um, like he is lost somehow. I think that um, for him, it's a bit like um, there's a lot of misunderstandings, or at least I think that there was in the past, about him not actually saying what he thinks, or actually saying it, but in with the wrong timing. He probably expressed how he truly felt about a certain topic, when the right time was over, and somehow it wasn't well received. So now he's working on that. And I also think that it's important because I think he needs to establish a bit of more dominance in his life, because I feel like he is a dominant person. He has his temper, he has his character, but probably the fact that he's very silent about it, or about matters that he truly cares about, probably makes him sound, or people perceive him as this sometimes very, like he's absent, like he's really not interested, or like, and it tends to lead to a lot of misunderstanding, especially with people that he cares about. He probably has so much feelings for someone and he doesn't express it. So here he's going to change that way of behavior, that way of behaving. He's probably is like, okay, I am going to take, because here with the Ace of Swords, it's like, okay, I'm going to take control of my destiny, and I'm going to get out of this period of uncertainty, because thankfully the Moon card came out in reverse. So it means that the shadows, the insecurities, the fears are slowly going to disappear from his life, and everything that he's going to put his energy on in the future is going to be based on a lot of more assertiveness, and also with a lot of more of a straightforwardness, because I feel like he's very straightforward. But when you combine his emotional nature with being assertive, the result it's a bit ambiguous, so maybe people don't actually comprehend what he's trying to say, like it's like, what you mean, what are you telling me right now, like I don't get it, and I think that probably he learned from that early on, probably last year he was like, oh, maybe I should I should train more, like I should get out of this awkward phase. Um, because actually he's very honest. I don't think he's someone that he hides himself or he protects himself. It's just that for him to find the right timing is a bit awkward, like probably when he comes too strong in moments where there's no need to. So I don't know, there's something very very confusing about him. But thankfully, with this moon card in reverse, it means that the confusing era is 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 like going to change. Like he's not going to be perceived as confusing, and also I think he wants to be, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, like I think there's something about him being more in control of his life. There's something like he definitely wants to be perceived as more masculine, probably, because we start here with a lot of cups, so definitely he could be like the mother. He has the moon in Cancer, so he's like this sort of mother archetype. He plays the role of this mother mother figure, sort of, being understanding, being nurturing, and he's really good at that. But also at the same time, he wants to show his more independent side, and probably a bit more masculine and a bit more raw, and also a bit more blunt. I think he wants to find a balance between those two characters and between those two traits. And I think it's going to be very beneficial not only for his relationships as an overall, but also for his career. There's like a lot of opportunities for him like going around, but somehow he's going to be able to take them and accept them and say yes to a few things that probably um, he didn't want to say anything back then, and there's still this, but I because I don't think that there's people stopping him from doing what he wants. I think that is his own insecurities that is like, oh, maybe this is not the right time, maybe I shouldn't be thinking about doing this because I don't know. So I think that it's about that, it's about that. It's about not feeling so anxious or um so like fearful a bit about making major decisions for himself. Um, and since I have the Queen of Swords here, I think that it's also about him being a bit more independent. Probably he wants to do some individual work as well. So this has to do with his independency somehow. But for him, it's not easy to think about himself. Probably he's considering more others, like, okay, I need to be there for others because they need me right now, because we are going through this, so we need to be together, and I need to be in this role because they need me. So he's thinking about other people's needs before his own. But he's going to be faced with a moment of decision where he will have to also acknowledge that he has desires of his own, and that probably, being a bit more um, fearless, being a bit more fearless, and being a bit more like a warrior, like, okay, I'm going to take this as well, being ready to conquer all your fears, like defeat all your fears, like clear the air. Don't show like an ambiguous figure. Like, put your matters into order. Put your heart and your mind in the same place. Like, try to get the right balance, and also speak up. Speak up is very important. The source here they're letting me know that it's important that he, instead of assuming or trying to guess or trying to use his intuition to somehow like understand what others' opinions are, he should go straight to those people and ask them. Like, start the conversation, like start having conversations. Don't assume, don't rely only on your perception or on your intuition. Like, be a bit more dominant, be a bit more action orientated. Go and ask and start those conversations. I think that for him it's going to be very healing, and it's also going to take him out of this moon phase, because it's not a coincidence that actually the moon card is not, it doesn't represent Cancer energy, but we were talking about him being a moon in Cancer. And moon in Cancer is a great placement because actually Cancer sign is ruled by the moon, so it's a very beneficial moon placement because it's in his domicile. So it gives you a lot of richness when it comes to being emotional. But at the same time, I think that he is going to enter a moment in his life where he needs to get out of his moon. Like I mentioned in the beginning, that he seems to be very influenced by his moon sign. And if his rising is in Cancer, it definitely shows like why he is so immersed in this very Cancer vibe. And I think that this Queen of Swords here and this Ace of Swords are like, okay, let's cut this for a while. Like, let's remove the moon mysterious energy, and let's concentrate a bit more in being a bit more assertive and being a bit more outspoken and being a bit more communicative. And also, like, let's focus on new beginnings. Like, let's do things with more being a bit more analytic, being a bit more reasonable, and being also a bit more intellectual and intelligent. So yes, this is exactly the message for him. So I hope that it made sense, guys. And if you are a fan of Seonghwa, of course, I would appreciate your feedback. So yes, this is all I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.